here's why. Yeah. This entire thing makes very little sense to me. It makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. What are we talking about here? What is the size of Elon Musk's base? Well, I calculate it to be about 4%. Just 4%. 1, 2, 3, 4% of all voters. What is that base made up of? Well, it's those who view Elon Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. We're talking just about 4% of all voters out there, because it turns out most of the people who like Elon Musk already like the GOP already. That is, they already have a platform. In my mind, there is just no base for Elon Musk's third party in the electorate, at least initially speaking.
All right. When we talk about third parties at the presidential level, the candidate who most recently had the most success in terms of getting the most votes was Ross Perot. So how does Elon Musk compare to Ross Perot?
Yeah, go all the way back in the time machine to 1992. And we will note Americans with an unfavorable view, i.e. essentially that Musk starts off with far more against him than Ross Perot ever did. Americans with an unfavorable view of Ross Perot was only 14% back in 1992. Now, the vast majority of Americans are already with far more against him than Ross Perot ever did. Americans with an unfavorable view of Ross Perot against Elon Musk, 58%. So what we're essentially saying here is that Elon Musk is going to go into an electorate that already dislikes him, is already against him, while there were far more people who are open to the idea of a Ross Perot third party or independent candidacy as compared to an Elon Musk third party, in which the vast majority of Americans are already sided against the man from Tesla.
So Elon Musk says he's going to play, forget, the presidential election is years away. The congressional election next year, he says he wants to play there. What's the history of third-party candidates in congressional races?
Horrible, awful, terrible, terrible, terrible. What are we talking about here? All right. Elected to Congress from a third party since 1970, just 0.2% of all winners were either third party, independent, or right. We're only talking about 24 out of over 13,000 winners. The bottom line is third party, independent, they just don't succeed. Donald Trump is right when he's talking about the fact that third parties, simply put, don't work.
I will leave with this one coda, though. When you're talking about 4% here, it may not be about winning the race.
Thank you.
4% has been.
Sorry, I got to type
now.
off a couple messages before I take off.
We were talking about. He could spoil it for the GOP, but he probably can't win it.
They're in.
Yeah, so I feel like what Elon is going to do is just agitate both parties against him, really, rather than create a new party that pulls off a sizable majority from either side. Republicans are now just going to say, oh, okay, well, if you're forming another party, like if you're inside the tent and you're unhappy and you're just sitting in the corner and you're pouting and like pretty okay, like you guys just got a little fight.
I got to grab something to eat, though. Go around the other way here.
That happens. That's normal bro stuff. But as soon as you go out and you start competing business, or you start competing team, or you start
Let me turn this around.
now you've crossed the line. And now that cannot be taken to account. So
I don't know
if there were a strong clamoring for this, if Trump had alienated, I think, a much more sizable portion of his base, and I think that there probably has been some alienation, don't get me wrong. We've seen that, where you've seen people like Dave Smith and others, right, go from being a big supporter and now calling for his impeachment. So there is that happening. I'm recognizing that. But has that reached a critical mass where, over half of Trump's base, let's say, is disconnected with him? I don't think so even close. I think many people.
I don't know.
Like
we'll go this way and figure it out.
He's got more accomplishments in the past 2 weeks than we've seen in modern American history. People are recognizing that. People want to be part of the winning team. And so Elon is now taking a winning team and saying that it's not winning enough and trying to create his own party. And again, if that party helps the Democrats in cause and effect, then he's helping the Democrats, no matter what he's trying to do. Right? If they win seats, then what good is it? It's not, as far as I can tell. So Trump, sad to see this happening with Elon. I'm sad to see it too. This could have been the bromance of the millennia if these two could have just worked it out, but I don't know what happened. So we'll keep our eye on that. But Elon Musk and Trump now officially at odds. And Mike Johnson has been unfollowed by drama out there. Hopefully they can mend it. All right, so we got that. Now, Trump also came out, got a little bit of a gaggle. Let's listen to some of this, and then we'll hear.
Hey, Jody. Hey, I can see it this time.
Yesterday on the way back to DC.
Yay, I can see YouTube.
Very close to going to happen. And everybody in Texas, Christine Nome has, as you know, been there. And will continue to be there. And we're working very close with representatives from Texas. And it's a horrible thing that took place. Absolutely horrible. So we say God bless all of the
Popcorn scrimps. That sounds good.
God bless the state of Texas. It's an incredible place. Any questions?
And are you still planning to phase out FEMA?
Well, FEMA is something we can talk about later. But right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
For the trade letters that you're sending out on Monday, Secretary Best.
Yeah, I don't know if Jody's already said hi in the Rumble chat yet or not this month. If he could, that'd be nice. But yeah, I appreciate the views no matter where you're at. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. Come on, dude. Student driver. Ain't nobody coming the other way.
Secretary of Commerce right here. And I guess Howard, I would say it could be maybe as many as 15 or so. And they'll be going out on Monday, and some will go out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and and we've made deals also. So we're going to have a combination of letters, and some deals have been made.
Starting a third party.
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Hold the key back from Elon.
Go ahead.
What's your message going to be to Netanyahu tomorrow?
But we're working on a lot of things with Israel.
Well, I don't see anything that really just
probably
makes me want to just grab it. There is a Captain D's, isn't there?
All of the things that you know so well. The attack turned out, according to every single
Chipotle sounds good too.
That was a complete and total obliteration.
I might just wait till later.
And we had the pilots, as you know, at the White House on Friday. They were incredible. And they confirmed that. They know better than anybody, by the way, but they confirmed that every bomb hit its mark perfectly. And they would have to start all over again at a different location. This was, as you know,
Big Boy sounds good too, but I'd have to sit down in there.
Message me on Gaza to Netanyahu.
I think we're close to a deal on Gaza. We could have it this week.
Yeah, Arby's is good too. I'm thinking I'm driving, so and I got a long way to drive. Hour and a half drive here.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the coming week, pertaining to quite a few of the hostages. You know, we've gotten a lot of the hostages out.
Thank you.
Pertaining to the remaining hostages.
Such a sweetheart, Jody. I appreciate you, bud. I just need 20 unique chatters per month to stay monetized on Rumble. So anybody who pops in. And plus, this gives you the opportunity to win a premium membership. Where you at, Jody? Here we go.
They go into effect on August 1st.
Let me do this.
Tariffs go into effect August 1st. But the president is setting the rates and the deals
Give
right
sub.
now.
Are you investigating whether some of the cuts to the federal government left key vacancies in the National Weather Service or the emergency coordination?
Oh, no, I don't have this chart.
You look at that, and what a situation.
I got to do that from here. All right.
And that was really the Biden setup. That was not our setup, but I wouldn't blame Biden for it either. I would just say this is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
Texas, Mr. President? Probably on Friday.
All right, let me see something real quick. If you're still here, I am going to get you a membership, a premium membership. So if I ever pop on just premium, you'll be able to be in chat. Find it. All right, there. Oh. All right, let's see who gets it. Jody's a mod. All right, cool. Ah,
Property's a great piece of property, so we'll see. But if I can help them out, I will. Ultimately we control it. The federal government ultimately controls it, so we'll see what happens.
I don't lose any money just giving people. I mean, obviously, I'm
The owner's
paying myself by doing that. But.
A very good man. I know a little bit, and it would be a great place for the NFL to be there. I can tell you that. So if they want to negotiate a little tough, that's okay.
Andrews changed the name back to Redskins.
You want me to make a controversial statement? I would. I wouldn't have changed the name, but that's there. It just doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same ring to me. But winning can make everything sound good. So if they win, all of a sudden the Commander sounds good. But I wouldn't have changed the name.
That's good.
See? I am helping Ukraine. I'm helping it a lot. And it's a war that should have never happened. It's a war that should have never started.
Hey, no worries, man. I get it right back at the end of the month, so they don't charge anything. Or I get 100% of memberships. Well, minus 9 cents, okay, or 11 cents. I get out of a $5 membership. I get $4.89 or something like that. So it costs me 11 cents to do that. And I'll only do it for the people that are in my chat all the time.
You wouldn't have had the horrible Afghanistan the way they left. Not that they left. We would have been out before them, but the way they left. I think the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. You wouldn't have had the October horror show with Israel and Hamas. You wouldn't have had any of it. You wouldn't have had the recent showdown with Iran. You wouldn't have had any of it. And you wouldn't have had inflation.
You said you had a strategic call with Zelensky the other day. What strategy did you do?
It was a good call. He's being hit very hard, as I said he would.
I think I'm just going to maybe Dairy Queen.
I was very disappointed with my call with
I like their little country gravy.
In light of the floods, do you think that the federal government needs to hire back any of the meteorologists who were fired in the 1980s?
I wouldn't know that. I really wouldn't. I would think not. This was a thing that happened in seconds. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it. Very talented people in there, and they didn't see it. I guess they said once in 100 years they've never seen anything like this. So I wouldn't. People are trying to blame the school. They're trying to blame the camp.
They didn't see it. We saw the morning.
It's just a horrible thing. But no, I wouldn't say that.
Are you expecting any deals to be signed this week, and what countries are closest to that?
Well, the president is right in the midst of discussing all sorts of deals with all sorts of countries. And the gentleman to my right is going to decide, and I'm going to be with him when he makes that decision.
Thank you very much. Thank
Hey,
you.
Dio.
All right, so that's the gaggle from the president, and conversation. Of course,
Flamethrower Joe Day. What's that mean?
I think they're still trying to piece together exactly what happened, but we did see that there were warnings that were sent out, at least from the National Service that went out. Now, what I heard today when I was listening to the interview that Ted Cruz was at, or the press conference that Ted Cruz was at, and he was saying that a lot of these regions, like a lot of these camps, don't even have cell service or cell access. And when there's storms that come in, they don't get the memo, right? So it's like the memo went out, but they didn't get it. And that's a problem. Like that's a separate problem. But I think part of the conversation that we want to have is to appropriately identify the problem so we can have an appropriate solution. Right?
I'm just saying hi to you on Rumble.
Saying, should we hire back more meteorologists? It's like just we've got to get to the second layer effect. What happened here? What was the actual root cause of this thing? Not just like hiring more bureaucrats. So yeah, maybe they identified it, but they didn't receive it because these camps are tucked away in the bottom of a river, tucked away in the hills, an hour away from civilization without any cell towers anywhere. Anyways, you get the point. It's a beautiful Monday, my friends. Thanks for being here. Let's see who's here and joining us as we kick off this week together, and I'm excited about it. We got K Bean, thank you for clipping. Carrie Bean, thank you for clipping. And thank you both for helping yesterday, too. I didn't say thank you yesterday, but I do appreciate you. Hey, Matthew Larkins, signing off from the YouTubes. 19 months as a member. That's 2 babies and then some, Matthew. It's respectable. Last day for me on YouTube shall be on Rumble and Locals henceforth. Well, Matthew, I'm very glad that you were with us over here for a bit, and now we'll see you on the other side.
Joe Day, okay.
And we'll see you back over on the other end. Matthew Larkins coming to Local soon. What's up? George Garbanzo is here. Says the weather modification theory is not so crazy. Look up Weaponized Weather Modification Treaty of 1976. It says no country shall use weather modification against another country. How far we have come since then. Yeah, no, there's a whole sub-conversation going on about this. And there's this one dude, what's the name of the company? Rain Matter, I think is what it's called. Recently, I just remember that.
I don't know. I might go to DQ. I don't know. There's plenty of places. Actually, there's a burger place. What is the name of that burger place in Fremont?
What's the name of that company?
It's like a house, but it's supposed to be a really good burger place.
There's some dude who's like defending his company on X right now.
Hey, Dirty.
Which I appreciate. And I don't know that I'm opposed to weather modification in general, or cloud seeding in general. I think it might be an interesting technology to develop, and I would imagine that's kind of a natural evolution of what's called, maybe it's called Rainmaker. Yeah, here it is. Rainmaker, cloud seeding startup. Augustus Dorico is this dude's name. And he is on X, making it rain, right? It's got Rainmaker Corporation. Apply to work as a forward employed engineer, in my profile link says this natural disaster is a tragedy. We did not operate in the affected area on the 3rd or 4th to contribute to the floods that occurred over the region. We'll always be transparent. Ted Cruz reiterated, we didn't do this. Did Rainmaker's July 2 cloud seeding in Karnes County play a role in the July 4th deluge? CEO joins Amuse, what's up Amuse, live X Space to set the record straight, saying the cloud seeding cannot do this. And so that's going to be happening today. That sounds good. Today, too. So that'll be happening. And he's out there saying, look, here's an update from our meteorological team. Again, all operations are definitely suspended, and Rainmaker teams will be in Texas to aid the relief efforts. They're flying. They're flying up there, dropping stuff out of the sky. So it's like a real thing. Now, is it effective? I don't know. But I can understand the need to, like, what if you have all these farms set up in the Midwest and all of a sudden the rain stops because the climate changes? Not because of anything man-made or anything, but the climate changes. Like, it's a big planet. It's been changing forever. maybe you can seed some stuff and increase efficiency, but you start playing around with that stuff, you kind of cross that line.
It's got me taking a different route than we normally take too.
Rubos couldn't resist. There is Elon. Is that as Judas? Perhaps? Is that Elon as Judas? I think is what that is hinting at. The kiss before the crucifixion. That's heavy. That is hard. Get you a stack of bricks. Don't. Elon never fully endorsed our Constitution. That is pretty telling. I've seen that, though. Yeah. Was he asked about that before? Yeah, what would this new party? I'm still looking for this new party's platform. Like, what is it? Somebody had a great question. It was already on the entire. He said, "How would Elon respond if you asked him that Elon's running for president? Or he can't. Let's say he's running for his party or his candidate's running for president. Elon, what's your opinion on Microsoft firing 2,000 people or 600 people and hiring 2,000 employees? What is that?" That's being reported. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know if it's illegal, but how they're getting around it.
It says me taking a different route back. Taking some side roads. We'll see. We'll see how well the connection is.
I'd like to know how you answer that. Bonnie, I'm not worried in the least about Elon creating another party. I think you're right. Particularly for the midterms. Only once since 1934 has the presidential party held the House.
Fucking merges going less than the speed limit.
Elon should back off anyway. It's not with you on that thing. I think he's wrecking his brand. He's wrecking his, all the goodwill he's done. It's like you already angered the entire Democratic Party. Okay, that's already done. You're not going to win them back. It's going to take a decade to win them back, and you're going to have to go ultra hard and satiate them to the point that would be unfathomable for a guy like Elon to have to kowtow to that.
All right, let me back this up to the beginning of the show. I missed the first half hour. $262 here, so only $260 where I got it last. I don't know where this is taking me, but
yes! Hello, my beautiful friend.
I think it's going to take us back roads all the way there.
Day it is.
It'll be different.
I hope your weekend was outstanding and you celebrated with an explosive firework just bursting into the sky. And you return also bursting full of energy because it's Monday. We got a full week ahead. We're excited about it. Now, we got a presidential schedule, a congressional schedule. We want to see what the House and the Senate are up to. Now that they've got that one big, beautiful bill that passed and got signed in over on the weekend on Friday. And so we'll go through that. We got some Elon stuff. We got this weird shooting that took place over at the Border Patrol facility. We got Texas still recovering, still getting hit by this flood. There's a lot going on out there. So as per usual, thanks for being here and for being amazing members and for joining us on this Monday, July 7th. You can see we've got a couple updates here. Tom Homan was out and he had a little bit of a gaggle with the press. We'll come back on immigration. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too. So let me just clear that out of the air here right now. This Jeffrey Epstein stuff, we're going to save for the show later this afternoon. We got a bunch of stuff queued up about it. It's ridiculous. We got the video.
Really? You looked it up for me?
We got the memo that came out.
I think that's the only burger place in Green Springs. I think it's a bar too.
No further
I'll check it out.
Necessary. Jeffrey Epstein, case closed. So it's a little early for Epstein we'll let that just charge up for a few more hours, and then we'll just unload on the show tonight. All right, I got a bunch of stuff already queued up. I got the original indictment queued up, and we can just compare and contrast the documents. Pam. All right, so we'll come back on that. So I just want to let you know, see where this starts to go. All right, so we'll save some of that for the show. We'll get into it. Ridiculous. All right, so we got that. Now today, until we get to the Epstein stuff, we got Tom Homan. He was speaking out there about border. We may also get to some border
Double
stuff.
barrel pub.
Caroline Levitt's going to come out, right? So we'll see if she gets
Look it up
some
when we get a
questions
chance
about
to.
Epstein. I'm pretty sure she will. And you want to predict what her answers are going to be? Well, I'll defer you to the FBI. She'll pull a Kareem card out. Just be like a Kareem. Or like Jen Psaki, I'll have to refer you to the White House counsel's office on that one. Refer you to the FBI on that one. Oh, to Kash Patel? No, to Dan.
Oh, in Tiffin,
Dan
Ohio,
Bongino,
or is
those
it?
two dudes? Right, the same dudes who said that they were going to get us all these documents. Yeah. The president signs executive orders. We'll see what's going on there. And then Benjamin Netanyahu is coming in from Israel. So he's going to be hanging out with Trump today. Apparently, this is like the third time he's been there. Trump to meet with Netanyahu today as Israel and Hamas discuss a ceasefire. And there's some real momentum on this that has been underway. Netanyahu told reporters before he left, as he was heading over to the United States, as we're working to achieve this deal that is being talked about, saying that he can definitely help advance this outcome, Trump can, which is what we all hope for. Benjamin also thanked Trump for his recent support of the 12-day war with Iran. An Israeli official briefed on the matter told NBC News that Benjamin was expected to meet with Steve Witkoff as well, and they'll be having dinner tonight.
Oh, so that's actually in Tiffin, though, huh?
Tonight. Now on Friday, Hamas
I see
said that it
Sulphur Town
responded to
Pub.
the
It
ceasefire
looks like it's
proposal
closed.
in a positive spirit. And I also saw this article out from the Wall Street Journal as well. This is kind of getting a lot of attention over on X.
Yeah, the double barrel
commentary. But
bar and grill. Tiffin is real close to there. So.
That this other sheik called Hebron's Sheiks, group of them, proposed to leave the Palestinian Authority and join the Abraham Accords. And it said there's a letter that was addressed to the Israeli economy, former mayor of Jerusalem, and yeah, they're trying to work something out.
Sulphur Town doesn't open until 4 p.m.
Which would be pretty wild. Because that was a conflict that seemingly had no end in sight. And now hopefully it is coming to a conclusion. So Wall Street Journal talking about that. We've got NBC talking about it. A lot of the Chirons out saying Benjamin's going to be here. So that may be happening later today. Maybe they'll come to some sort of
outside food allowed.
After a nice dinner. Then we also got more. So over from day in Congress, as we can tell. I also got their schedules queued up. We got little Tom Homan was out this morning. FCC hosting a roundtable. House Pro.
Trying to look up the Burger Guy's review of this place in Fremont. Which is hard to do when I'm driving. Shouldn't probably be doing it.
There's a rally in support of Kilmar that just happened. I did not see this earlier. Oh gosh. He's home. Bring Kilmar home. He's home. He's in Tennessee, in federal penitentiary. So,
Yeah, it's in Fremont, but
I'd say
there's
they're
a lot of
off
places. The Garrison that you're talking about, that's there too. Supposedly a good place. Why does it keep popping on? All right, I found the whole list. 40 miles before I have to. Logan's, Bills. MCC, or the guys that were with MCC. Van Ness timeout. That's it. Van Ness timeout. There we go. Lake Street. Van Ness's timeout. There we go. Drive to Van Ness's timeout, Fremont, Ohio. What did you say? Drive to Van Ness's timeout, Fremont, Ohio. She doesn't understand. So we'll just go with these directions here. It's closed today. Never mind. Hey, that is where I want to go, though. So keep that in mind. I got to figure out why my stream isn't going anymore. Just put it on picture video for now.
Temporary in the House's version of the bill, and it's going to grow with inflation as the cost of living increases. Great things. We needed to do that to prevent a recession in our economy, keep the income tax rates low, keep the small business deduction working.
Carolyn Levitt's about to do a news conference, too. Popping in real quick to see that, but I don't see him live yet.
When Hillary proposed it.
Yeah, that's just one of many flaws in the bill. Also, the fact that many of the green energy subsidies are going to get an extended lifespan because there the final bill took the Senate's path, which was not as good as the House's path, in making sure you had a quicker phase out of all those Biden-era credits. Well, we're going to have to live with that. It's hard to believe that Congress will revisit that timetable. So instead of looking at a phase out in 26 or 27, we're probably going to be waiting until 2028 or later for many of those.
That's that little place on the corner, and I'm good with that. The place had been closed down for about a year and just reopened recently. It's literally a drive-through party store.
That is a lot of tax relief, primarily for blue states, that we could have been given.
And the fact that they have Indian food means that some Indians bought it.
Many different forms, bigger standard deduction or better provisions for small businesses. Instead, that was a loss for taxpayers, even though it provided relief to a small number of Americans.
We'll figure it out.
Is that just the reality of having such a narrow majority that required that you couldn't afford to lose blue state Republicans with?
Yeah, some of it is, but the problem is that somehow Congress negotiated itself into a corner with both Republican caucuses in the House and Senate because the final ball break, if you want to call it that, was more generous than what the House initially proposed in its terms, far more generous than what the Senate proposed. They kind of out-negotiated each other and came out with a really bad product there. The only consolation is that this expanded deduction is on a temporary path. It'll phase out in 4 years or so. I guess that will give us the opportunity to revisit the policy later. Could have been worse there, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I live in New Jersey. I am against the SALT deduction in any form for this reason. It's just a giveaway to blue state budget making. That's all that it is. I know that I know
I love
both
that
sides
too.
of the
Some
argument.
hummus or something.
One side says, well, any tax relief is
Basically pita bread.
And by having the SALT deduction, you're giving tax relief to Republican voters in these blue states who aren't voting for these policies. It's a way to sort of help them out against the state that they live in. The other side, which is the side I'm going to take, is you're never going to change the voting habits of these people, the majorities of these states, if they don't have to fully pay what it is they're voting for.
Yeah. And you can see this in direct statements from Democratic politicians in charge of these states. They tell their voters, no worries that your state taxes are going up because you'll be able to get part of that back on your federal taxes. They literally do say that to voters. That's a bad incentive for policy making.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also a burden shift. It's not fair to well-run, low-income or no-income states like Texas and Florida. And I realize they had this huge tragedy in Texas, but that's not because of their tax rates or anything for that matter. But if you have a well-run state that makes everyone a taxpayer in some way, which the Democrats say is regressive and therefore a penalty on the poor. If you're running your state on sales tax, on tolls, on usage fees, what have you, then everybody's a taxpayer. They don't actually. People on the left don't think that's fair. They think the majority should not pay taxes. The numeric majority.
What's going on here?
Just extract their resources from the numeric
55
majority.
here, guys.
But when everybody's a taxpayer, when you're presented with a tax increase, you have to think about it as somebody who's paying, not receiving.
Yeah, and the transparency is really important here. And so is getting the fiscal policy right. One of the best kept
There's a baseball game today.
in tax policy over the past
I don't know. I know we just swept Cleveland over the weekend. I say we, the Tigers, my team. Yeah, they Tigers play Tampa Bay tonight at 6:40 Eastern, so 5:40 your time. I don't know. There's no home game, or the Mudhens aren't home until next week, I think. Yeah, Tigers are 57-34. They have the best record in the major leagues right now. They're one game ahead of the Dodgers. I'd say your Cubbies are doing pretty good. They're first place in their division, 54-36. They're 4 games up on Milwaukee still.
Because somebody has more and somebody has less doesn't mean the Constitution gives to offset that. You can either go eliminate the income tax altogether and run the country on tariffs, which is how it was done until 1913. You can go with a flat tax where everybody pays a flat percentage, no deductions for anything, no credits, no deductions. So if you had 7.5% or something like that, even if you're low income, you're still beating the system because you're going to get back more services that you contribute. Rich people, because their 7% will be more and more dollars, they'll pay more. With the fair tax, eliminating the income tax and having a national sales tax of, I don't know what the proposed.
Yeah, he looks like he's on a pace to do that.
This way, everybody pays
possibly the Triple Crown again.
And notice, that's why I like the fair tax. I mean, the fair tax a little bit more because you're sort of de-weaponizing taxes.
I was going to say this breaks for no reason.
If that happened, the no tax states might have to raise a tax at some level.
Rate of tax under the fair tax, some say it would have to be north of 20%. But you know what? If you saw that on your cash register receipt every time you went to buy something, I imagine a lot of people would open their eyes to the fact that their government costs them a lot more than they think. Withholding kind of lulls us into this sense that, oh, I don't know. I mean, ask any wage earner, how much tax do the governments withhold from your wages?
Screwball.
Most of them couldn't.
Screwball.
They may not see it on their paycheck clearly enough, but they may just not do the math. It's very difficult for folks to conceptualize how much their government costs.
That's our ace pitcher who won the Cy Young and Triple Crown last year.
Yeah, and when you do get your tax refund, you're like, really?
Oh, really? That's nice.
Wow, thank you, government. No, that just means they took more than they were supposed to. They're giving you some of it back. Like, don't be thankful.
Be angry.
I am convinced that if we had to pay taxes, whether by direct, by clicking on the IRS website,
got an ERA of like 2.05.
We would have a very
it's like
different
10-2 this year. And we won the game. He had 7 scoreless innings that he pitched yesterday. He didn't get the win though because our guys didn't score till the 9th inning. Then they scored the 9th inning on a 2-out wild pitch, and then scored a bunch, like 6 more runs in the 10th inning to take it. Cleveland's now lost 10 games in a row. When they were within 4 games of the Tigers at one point. Look at all these windmills not turning. It's ridiculous. There's 4 of them here, not one of them is turning.
Does it feel like even with Republicans that they push this? So we had to go. We've got to pass it, or else there's a government shutdown, or we're going to cross this deadline. Well, if you know that, why weren't you working on this bill?
Yeah, his earned run average. You want it to be low.
It feels like we're always in a panic mode where we're like, well, it's not a great bill. Perfect. Can't be the enemy of good. You don't get everything you want. Well, maybe if you had more time to work on it, you would have been able to hammer out some of these details.
Yeah, that's right. And well, they did a good job.
Yeah, Indians.
A lot of advance work on the tax policy after all.
I wish they would change their name back.
Far back as last year, getting input from my organization, NPU, and others about how to do good tax policy. They didn't get that kind of advice consistently on the spending side of the ledger, and that's what really shows through in this bill. A $5 trillion increase in the national debt only targeted slowdowns in the rate of increase of federal spending. You might see a couple
Eagle swatters.
departments and programs throughout this bill, but overall, federal spending is going to continue to grow at nearly the same rate as before passage of this bill. We've got to work on that going forward.
Now, that's the question I've had for Republican guests, members of Congress and senators. Is this sort of, I hate to use the word gap here, is this something that You're doing it now in the temporary, and you're gonna come back. And I'm so sick of the wishful thinking. I really am. But are they going to come back with next year's budget and be like, okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's what it is too.
cut out some of the bad stuff.
And the reason they were named the Indians is because they were the first team to have a Native American on their roster, which I think celebrates them. I mean, all these woke groups that get them to change it are definitely don't speak for the major tribes in the area.
Yeah. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that Republicans will clean up the next budget and they don't lose the House and Senate in the 26 midterms. Because then this is what I don't understand. Democrats, when they get into power, they do the Democrat. They do Democrat things. Republicans will campaign on Republican things, but then tell you why they can't do Republican things once they have the power to do Republican things. Like I kind of want them to be the monsters. They're you guys.
Oh, Florida State. Yeah. That's one of my buddy's favorite teams. He lives down there now. He's the one that's supposedly will be sending me a job offer pretty soon, but we'll see. It's been a few weeks since I've heard from him. Yeah, it's supposed to rain most of the day today. At least the rain's supposed to bring cooler air.
Program Pizza, president of the National Taxpayers Union. What is the website? National. Okay. One more time. NTU.org, National Taxpayers Union. Thank you so much for joining us. My pleasure. All right, 52695 Patriot 957-2874. We are right, they are wrong. As the story, the arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot. I'm Billy Joel. We've got stories about my songs and lots more on the Billy Joel channel. With new stories from Billy and his bandmates.
76 here with the rain. Dropped it big time.
Throughout July, Channel 79 and on the Sirius XM app. Just search Billy Joel. You didn't inherit your future. You one paycheck, one sacrifice, one smart decision at a time. While then, the policies in Washington squander your success. I'm Joseph Granate, CEO and co-founder of Alio Capital. I founded Alio Capital to offer a different path from the establishment, one that prioritizes long-term thinking, portfolio construction over trading. Alio has an AI-powered macro investing app that makes the complex simple. It combines adaptive learning systems that focuses on powerful forces that shape markets, economics, policy, and politics. Alio Capital's Altitude AI is a proprietary tool designed to analyze these macroeconomic factors and their potential impact on your portfolio. Download our app today in the App Store or Google Play. Text Patriot to 511 511 ALLIO Capital. Text Patriot to 511 511. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal and past performance does not guarantee results. See terms and conditions. Tax fees may apply. In business, they say you can have better, cheaper, or faster, but you only get to pick two. What if you could have both at the same time? That's exactly what Code Gear, Thomson Reuters, and Specialized Bikes have since they upgraded to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. OCI is the blazing fast platform for your infrastructure, database application development, and AI needs, where you can run any workload in a high availability, consistently high performance environment and spend less than you would with other clouds. How is it faster? OCI block storage gives you more.
Guys in the fucking fast lane doing less than the speed limit.
70% less for storage.
You get behind all the winners.
Better in test after test, OCI customers report lower latency and higher bandwidth. This is the cloud built for AI and all your biggest workloads. Right now, with zero commitment, try OCI for free.
There's a turnoff lane, dude. You don't need to slow down beforehand.
Unplug. Americans love using their credit cards. The most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But DC politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Compass to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. And one of those large sort of values is responsibility of life. Freedom is not the end of the story, it's just the beginning. It's what we do with freedom of that. Enough of this woke DEI stuff. No, we're only looking for the best, and we're looking for excellence. And then the family. The left said that the nuclear family is white supremacy. The nuclear family is the bedrock of America. Nine-part News Daily with Mike Slater. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Conservative principles live here. Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125. All right. You probably think your 401k is safe and it's growing, and then it'll be enough for your retirement. But what if it's not? Here's the truth. Your 401k was never designed to make you wealthy.
I might just stop at this place called Chunky Dunks in Fremont. The Garrison looks good. It just looks more expensive.
Inflation and uncertainty. Look, you can't control it, right? You can't control that. Well, until now. Lots of Americans, myself included, are taking back control by turning to real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands protect their future by converting part of their retirement savings into physical gold. Now, you can talk to Noble Gold today and learn how safe and easy it is to roll over your 401k into tax-advantaged gold IRA without the penalties or headaches. Yeah. Okay, so visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
Oh, this is like mostly chicken.
Get your free wealth protection kit, including step-by-step guide to get started. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. It's time to get your money out of the danger zone and into something real. Noblegoldinvestments.com. So I'm looking here at the bill. Most of you don't think the New York Post has actually emerged as a really good intersection between, I don't mean to insult anyone when I say this, but a more simple tabloid stuff.
Let me just go to the Garrison. It looks decent.
Well, the Daily Mail's the same, but they're really on top of things. I don't, yes, you're conservative. Their aggregating of stories is definitely conservative influence. Okay? New York Post, Fox News, Daily Mail.
Yeah, I cut the grass yesterday, man. It was an adventure in the heat.
But the New York Post really does prioritize the kind of stories that the New York Times and the Washington Post would bear. That being said, it's part of my job to read Roll Call and The Hill and the insider stuff that really most people don't read. And it's because you don't have time. Right? It's like you don't have time. You're doing other things. So if you're tuning in for, what's going on in the news, let me turn on Bill Capital, whatever. But I
think I'll go to the Garrison.
To these insider things. Because that's my job. Part of the game.
Drive to the Garrison, Fremont, Ohio.
All right, the Garrison.
The contributor is Joseph, who is a graduate of the Harvard, what is this? Josh Joseph is a published writer. He's a graduate of the Harvard Extension School at Ohio State University. He's a Marine veteran who served in Iraq and currently lives in Anaheim, California. Now, again, that's great that he was a Marine, but being a veteran doesn't simply make you write about it. So it's the same thing with Andy McGrath or Pete Buttigieg. I honor your service. Thank you for your service, but that doesn't make you instantly, like, the assumption is, well, if you're a conservative, a veteran's safe, so you're going to say because they're a veteran. No. He writes, President Ronald Reagan granted amnesty. George W. Bush pushed for one, and yet, with immigration as a flashpoint in today's political climate and cornerstone of President Trump's agenda, we seem to be looking at every solution except for an amnesty. The question is why Republicans and Democrats aren't both taking a serious look at an immigration amnesty so we can finally get immigration reform that the country needs. I'm a no. I'm a hard no.
No.
You know that about me.
I'm a hard no as well.
You know that about me. This idea that we just give something away, that people
spam call.
Life, and if this man is a
Knock on wood, I don't get many of those anymore. When it's not election season.
What is the point of
The ones I usually get are from on my work phone, and they get forwarded to my personal phone.
It says here, yes, I know nowadays the mere mention of an amnesty would be political suicide for any national candidate from the presidency down to Congress. However, we can't keep this course that Trump and Republicans are taking us down with nonsensical deportations that challenge the rights of all Americans. Really, we're not challenging the rights of all Americans. We're challenging the rights of non-citizens who broke into our country. We also can't keep doing nothing, as some Democrats seem to be content with. As Americans, we're grappling with seeing high school kids arrested by immigration and customs enforcement, immigrants being taken into custody in immigration hearings, and workplaces being targeted for raids. Some MAGA voters who seemed gleeful that Trump would forcefully deport millions are now baffled to see friends and neighbors being targeted by the U.S. government. Is there any other law that we simply don't enforce? Because the image of a family being separated when one person is being arrested. Is there any other law we don't enforce? And these families don't have to be separated. They can go with the person, the deportee, back to that home country. That's what it means to enforce the law. That's what it means to enforce the law. Either we're enforcing the law or we're not enforcing the law. Which is, you can't enforce the law on the citizen and not the non-citizen. It says Trump, for all his talk, hasn't deported millions, and it seems that the vast majority of people being snatched up by militarized immigration and customs enforcement agents are just workers and students and regular churchgoers. That's a lie. Why is that? Because the vast majority of immigrants who are here illegally are contributing to this economy, not invaders, as some like to call them. Okay. So if him, the drug dealer...
Oh, really? That's not very close, though.
Right? Purse snatcher steals a purse, spends the money in the purse.
That's like 3 hours away.
If a purse snatcher steals money, steals a purse, spends the money from the purse, then that money's being injected into the economy, right? When the drug dealer goes out and buys a car, the drug dealer is contributing to the economy. When the pimp goes out and spends his money, from his bitches, bitches better be bringing me my money. Right after he gets his money from his bitches, he's contributing to the economy, right? We can say that about anyone. Right? If a welfare recipient, this was Nancy Pelosi's reasoning, that we have to have welfare because welfare recipients spend the money and contribute to the economy. Okay, then let's not arrest anybody for anything. Right? plead innocent. You got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. I did not go to that grocery store. Why should we enforce the law on anyone? I love this though. I don't think we need to ignore the problem as some liberals seem to attempt to do. Illegal immigration is wrong. As Americans, we finally have to come to terms with the fact that we created a system that relies on black market immigrant labor and productivity. Deportations, as promised by Trump, would harm our economy more than tariffs. It would cause the national debt and deficits to rise and potentially lead us into recession. The way these people, we can't enforce, I think we can't enforce the law. We can't enforce the law. Let me ask you, Democrats, this is what I would ask this man.
Yeah, I would
This
like
is
to
what
too.
I would ask this man.
I got friends that live by really within a couple miles of one down in Kentucky.
Which pledged to one another they weren't going to pay their taxes on April 15th. Would you say we need a tax amnesty? I mean, if you throw all these people in jail, round them all up, would you say they deserve a tax amnesty? The answer is no. And instead of saying that the danger to our
That's what
economy
I've heard.
is that if we deport all these people, the real danger is how the hell did we get so dependent on this? And why is it taking this long to enforce the law? Ronald Reagan back in 1988, Simpson, Missouri, was for 3 million illegals. 3 million. A one-time. It's supposed to be a one-time thing. And it was almost exclusively people who were Mexican. One time.
My favorite place to get fudge is up in the Mackinac City Straits.
Upgrade border security, which they didn't fund.
When you cross the bridge, you get some pasties.
Secure fences.
I mean, they have fudge there in Frankenmuth. They have them everywhere. But.
And that's when I was out on George Bush. If you're a Republican for open borders,
that was summertime for me every year when I was a kid, crossing that bridge.
Well, I know we all love Marco Rubio, but remember, that was Rubio's position. Rubio and Graham wanted amnesty. Remember the Gang of 8 or the Gang of 6, or whatever the hell it was? It was McCain, Rubio, and Graham. I forgot who else was. So after this amnesty, what happens next? We give amnesty to 20 million people that can now sponsor family members.
Just entered Sandusky County.
If it's one family member, it becomes 40 million. If it was two family members, it'll be 60. Then they're going to tell us, well, we got to really tuck our elbows in and make room. I mean, we have a housing crisis here. We have a healthcare
crisis. Mac, where we used to go camping every year, Mackinac was just about the halfway point. Then you had to shoot all the way across the Upper Peninsula to just south of the Keweenaw Peninsula, the west side of the UP. Biltong, it is good. I will tell you that. I have ordered some of that Anton's Biltong. I just made some regular beef jerky too.
That's not a net gain, that's a net loss. And as much as I'm a Republican who loves business, businesses should not be able to pass the cost of their labor onto the taxpayer.
Wow, spring is coming down, man.
That's not how this is supposed to work. Make your business run, but you're not making it run in our expense. So I see you, I can't run my restaurant. Then you shouldn't run your restaurant on illegal labor. I don't give a shit. You give a shit. Why does some businesses give a shit? No amnesty.
Yeah.
No amnesty. Deportation must continue as scheduled.
It's CEI to the UP, eh?
Deport. Why is it 695 K for 957 287? I'm a hardliner on this. I'm not a negotiator. I'm not a moderate. I'm not looking for middle ground. I'm a hardliner.
That area out of gets more snow than any of the contiguous 48 states. They get about, on average, about 300 inches of snow a year. And they keep the roads clear. They have the best road commission up there.
Don't talk to me about law enforcement. And I don't want to pay my taxes anymore. I don't want to pay my taxes.
Yeah, there are. There are. Well, I mean, I think it's better that they've opened a bunch of, because alcohol has always been a huge problem up there. Every one of my relatives that live in cabins up there, fucking drunk all the time.
We are right. They are
so,
wrong.
I'm gonna have a little bit of weeds.
The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot. Sirius XM Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 is on channel 156 because.
Well, it's just because it's wrapped around by both sides by the Lake Superior, by large areas of Lake Superior, so it just dumps on it. Oh yeah, for sure.
You've heard me talk about how much I love active liver. Not only does it give my body a daily detox, but I'm enjoying more energy, less bloating, and I'm able to enjoy the foods and beverages I love knowing I'm giving my liver the support it needs. If you've been thinking about trying active liver yourself, then don't miss your chance to get it at the best prices of the year on Amazon during their Prime Days, which are going on this week. But hurry, because Prime Days end this Friday. So go online to Amazon now and get active liver at the best pricing of the year. Or if you don't want to wait, swing by.
Look at this, towers right across the street from each other.
Pick up some today. It's
weird.
Time to give your liver some love by picking up some active liver at CVS or Amazon today. 5 days are here.
Well, I'm sure it's just dry heat there.
Liver and help give your liver support it needs to have you
Desert.
Your best. Statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration.
And even up in the mountains when they get snow, I don't think they use salt. I think they just use sand.
Not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something,
they use salt around here too, though. I mean,
get out of that silly little thing. My advice: get the facts. Call me, and I'll send you our timeshare exit.
Yep. Perch Lake. It's in the Ottawa National Forest.
All your options for cancellation. Call Wesley now.
By Sidna and Watton, just south of there. And
that's 800-420-2255. Do you wake up every morning wondering how pain is going?
My Uncle Chet actually has a cabin on right near the entrance to the camp area. We used to go there at Perch Lake.
Sim isn't slowing down. He's still long-distance trekking, snowshoeing, and hunting.
It's a pretty large lake. It's got an island in the middle.
It helped him manage severe pain in his
but
legs.
it's got all the ancient rock shores and stuff.
As maintenance to keep inflammation at bay and keep him on the trails. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free.
You know that the exposed rock there is some of the oldest rock on the planet. Billions of years old.
That's less than $1 a day. Don't let pain keep you from living.
Superior Mountains?
Visit relieffactor.com.
The Porcupine Mountains, you mean?
That's 1-800, the number for relief.
The highest point is like 2,000 feet in the UP. I mean, there are ski slopes there and stuff. But
decent politicians want to change that. Durbin Russia credit card bill. This bill that's corporate notices that how your credit card is processed, allowing you to use encrypted payment methods that recognizes data security and rewards. Corporate notices
I just gotta get his hazards on. It's not that bad. Jeez. Yeah, that's more of the southwest side of the Upper Peninsula, where the Porcupine Mountains are. There are some little, I guess you could call some of them even mountains up in the Keweenaw area, but there's only like 2 incorporated towns once you get north of the Houghton Hancock. Although most of the 80% of the towns in the UP are unincorporated, which is good. Yeah, I think that's it. Kelly, Matt.
I love knowing that I'm giving my liver the support it needs. If you've been thinking about trying active liver for yourself, then don't miss your chance to get the best prices of the year at Amazon.
I have to check that out, that active liver.
Which are going on this week, but hurry, 5 days ends this Friday. So go online, go to Amazon, and get active liver at the best prices of the year. Or if you don't want to wait, swing by your local CVS or Meijer grocery and pick up some today. It's prime time to give your liver some love by picking up some active liver at CVS, Amazon, or Meijer grocery. Amazon during Prime Days are here. So now's the perfect time to go to Amazon and pick up some active liver, help give your liver the support it needs, and have you feeling your best.
I say, Jody, I say the Keweenaw Peninsula just because we used to. I mean, we drive up to there all the time. But like I said, where I go is more of in the middle on the west side, the Ottawa National Forest, not the Hiawatha, the Ottawa. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, during the summertime, it's the P only has like percent unemployment, but then it jumps up to 18% during the wintertime because everything is tourism up there.
This is like Margaritaville Part 2.
Yeah, I use Keweenaw Peninsula as a reference, but Perch Lake is like if you look at Marquette, Moraga, you stay along that freeway there, you'll see a town called Watson, Bruce Crossings, and Sidnaw. If you go straight south from there, is Perch Lake. It's right in the middle of the forest.
Sitting on a boat or in a bar on the beach. I mean, it is summer.
I just remember when I grew up in Michigan, I mean, literally, Mackinac was the halfway point. You still had a long way to go, even when you hit the bridge. Jeez. Yeah, that's typical. Thing is, you used to be able to get property for nothing now too, but now because their Airbnb business up there, you a small shack, what 1,200 square foot house is going to cost you 250, 300,000. Even if it's just a lot that butts up to the forest. Oh yeah, Route 2, running along the bottom or the bottom of the UP. Yeah, yeah. Well, the only interstate in the UP is 75, and that stops at what, Sault Ste. Marie. So all the rest of it's just like this highway. All the big gas stations that were open along Route 2 are pretty much all closed down too. What is it, Nagani, and go Nagani up to Marquette, across from the top that way. Yeah, the nearest interstate on the west side of the UP is Green Bay. That's still what, about 3 hours from most like the Houghton area. I should send you a link. There's this kid whose grandma grew up in that is he's partial what is it, Ojibwa, whatever Indian. Bijwa. I, I have to see it. I can never just say it. But he does a lot of he calls them ghost town videos. He thinks any town that is not incorporated is a ghost town, a living ghost town, which is weird. But they're actually pretty good videos. He rides around the UP in a Tesla. Ojibwa, there it is. I see it spelled out. I know how to say it. There's that one religious order too that does all those thimbleberry jams and stuff up there. Too much greed. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to get out if it's raining this hard to even eat. Yeah, basically. Man, this shit is coming down, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I was just saying, man. Even the semi slowing down up there. I don't know if it's turning or what. Pretty much deluge. My wipers are going as fast as they'll go.
That's me as a Iowa slap in the face.
still by the illegal farm workers a few years ago. They're going to come in here and talk about how we need to get amnesty to these people. Nobody in this state voted for that. So, except for maybe the 1% big ag people that ruined all the family farms.
Well, there is going to be pressure from businesses. The Chamber of Commerce is a very powerful.
Oh man, the guy keeps flying up behind me.
It will not surprise me if there's enormous pressure on Trump to grant some kind of amnesty, which I will say we should be putting more pressure than they can. That was my next statement. Is that we people that voted Trump in need to be just as loud as the interests that are going to be putting pressure.
Hey, did you see Bigfoot on the side of the road there?
I would say if I was one-on-one president, this is where your biggest support. Your biggest support came from finally enforcing the immigration laws. You won Hispanic voters together, right? The one voter block that Democrats and Republicans worry about.
Yeah, we'll get with you later. I'll fire it back up on my way home. I'm only 8 minutes away from my stop. I almost washed my car this morning. I'm glad I didn't. I didn't think we were supposed to get this much rain. At least not by my house. And again, I'm over an hour from my house. So.
Taking off this Friday also. I said I don't take a whole lot. So sometimes, you got to punch out. And I don't have anyone tweeting for me or Facebooking for me or doing Instagram posts for me. You see me posting, it's me. So, All right, third hour coming up. Again, the hardcore summer. Take a couple days off here, days off there. But we're here. And we're going to do the program like we do it if there's an election going on or there's not an election.
It's raining, but why are you driving down the road with your hazards on?
James Carville, Trump is going to declare martial law. Dude, I like when you were talking about feminism, right? Now, I female culture. Yep, that's fine. Talking about that. Drink a beer. Watch football. Yeah, hey, Mark. What a cop. Look. What was that, James? You see something I'm bringing on college? I need the eye bleach. I don't want to think about that. Okay. Third hour next, Sirius XM Patriot.
Because it's raining so hard, and if I go into any place that has air conditioning blasting, being soaked and have the AC blasted on you sucks.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Message delivered to everyone. Struggling with joint discomfort? Now you can discover improved flexibility, easier movement, and joint comfort in just 5 days with fast-acting dynamic joint from Stonehenge Health. Customers like Joe are feeling better fast.
I feel 10 years younger. I can actually walk up the stairs now. I would recommend Dynamic Joint to anyone who has joint discomfort. It is one of the best products I've ever used. I have a better quality of life and sleeping better.
Fast-acting Stonehenge Health Dynamic Joint helps you feel better fast. Powered by a potent blend of 9 scientifically backed ingredients, including turmeric, 4 types of collagen, And Opera Flex, which is clinically shown to ease stiffness and discomfort in just 5 days. Get Stonehenge Health Dynamic Joint today and feel better fast. You'll even get a 90-day no questions asked money back guarantee. Text USA to 35555. Text USA to 35555. Text USA to 35555.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief.
Hate to be a delivery person on a day like today. I'd rather it be snowing.
By the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys,
Raining like this.
licensed professionals have resolved over
It's gotta be
$1 billion
miserable.
of tax debt for their clients.
One letter carrier.
Optima can start the process.
The nipple sensitivity. Yeah.
Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-611-8892. 800-611-8892. 800-611-8892.
Remember, my dad had a good friend that lived in Hancock, just south of Houghton. He, yeah, had a pet skunk. I mean, it was decented, but it was still an asshole. Like the shit out of you.
At a news conference, Coe County Sheriff Larry Winkler said search and rescue operations continue with a full response. Local, state, and national first response.
I can see how some rain like this could start a flash flood.
We have more than a dozen canines working in and near the river. More than 100 air, water, ground vehicles are in the field right now working on this search and rescue. That audio courtesy of KPRC. Listeners who wish to help in the disaster rescue effort and make donations to www.salvationarmytexas.org.
Yeah, my mission
Also
tech.
accountable.com. Correspondent Marcella Sanchez on the latest out of Philadelphia shooting.
Three people are dead and 10 others injured after a shooting early Monday in South Philadelphia. Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel told reporters the victims killed were adults and 2 who wounded were juveniles. The shooting happened shortly before 1 in the morning along a residential street in the Grays Ferry neighborhood. One person with a weapon was taken into custody. Police had already responded to the same block late Saturday and early Sunday, and some people were arrested.
Man, place is right here too. I just don't know if I want to get out.
Overnight Russian attacks on Ukraine have killed at least 11 civilians and injured more than 80. Wall Street lower as the Trump administration steps up pressure on trading partners to make deals for Wednesday deadline. The
Four-way stop. No, looks like Garrison's open. Just don't know if I'm going to be able to put it out fast enough. How big are these spots? These are like, spots are huge. And the door's right there. Let me make sure it's open before I run up there. All right, brother. I'll catch you guys later. I'll probably fire back up, carry one of those portable umbrellas. I actually think I do have one. Actually, it might be under the seat. Let me check. Good idea. Thank you.